Got the lift installed again. That's the third time I've used this. 2 transmissions, now a timing chain.
So you can see we got most everything removed here to make it easier, and I'm very happy I did this. Getting the radiator out, the condenser, air conditioning, really makes it easier to get at, and in particular for filming it, it makes it a lot easier for you to see. So even though it took me maybe 4 hours to get all that stuff out of the way, I'm glad I did it, because it turned out to be a lot harder project than I was anticipating. And you'll see. Let's get into it. So as I showed before, I have the entire motor held up over the hatch using a come-along and a hoist system. And I'm slowly taking the motor mount bolts off. And right there, I am startled by the entire motor moving unexpectedly. I guess I didn't have it quite tight enough. Nothing serious though, just more scared me than anything. I'll show you later on what I do using some jacks underneath to prevent the same thing from happening again.
Well, that moved more than I wanted. Okay. All right. I'd say that's a little loose. The other craziness. What is that? I don't think it's a gasket, but it's some sort of metal. It's certainly restricting water flow. Okay, rotate it around a bit, just so the dots align, and they're roughly aligned in the middle. Okay. Okay. Note the important point mentioned in the maintenance manual. When you're pulling this, be careful not to block the key. It notes that the gear is not cut all the way through. And we'll look at that when we get it out, but it kind of seems that way since pushing the key out. So I did be careful when setting this puller up to make sure that this key wasn't blocked. So we're getting close here, and I might have room. We'll just go real slow and careful. Yep, key clear. Here's my puller. Seems to work great. It had just the right amount of clearance to get behind. 6-inch. And we're off. Sure enough, it is not cut all the way through. So be careful when pulling. All right. You can see, unlike the original, these are milled all the way through.
Okay, so I didn't exactly have the right installation tool, so I cut a piece of, I think this is 2-inch PVC, and it worked right. And I'm just being real careful, tapping, and it goes on pretty smoothly, but you'll see how I press it on here in a second.
We're aligned at the top. We're aligned at the bottom. And a little tighter. Three and 3/4, 4 1/4. Napa 43/100, I think. All right, pre-pressed in, cut, move up the corners. So you know that terrible feeling when you're going to tighten up a bolt and you got the torque wrench set and you're waiting for it to grab and you're waiting and it's not grabbing and it's spinning and you hope that it'll grab. You hope that it's not stripped. And you keep turning. And your hopes lead to despair.
Alright, so that was obviously very annoying, and I spared showing you a lot of the steps to get to where I was, because I'm just going to show you again, because we're going to do it all over again. But first we're going to obviously fix the strip threads. And this is attempt number 1, using helicoils.
Oh my. What in the world? Aha. Great. Back to the drawing board.
So that was obviously quite annoying. My first attempt, or my first, ever using helicoil failed. It fell right off, fell into the pan, and thankfully I was able to find it. But still annoying. So I'm here trying to figure out, should I try it again or try something else? I thought about other options, but this timing cover is just so thin that other options didn't seem very good.
Doesn't seem like a good solution for the long term in case I ever need to take this water pump out. Basically, if I need to take the water pump out, I need to take this whole timing cover off because the risk of this thing falling out again is fairly high. As you can see, I've put the bolt in 3 times now, 3, maybe 4, and this thing is hanging on by a thread, literally. This is not a good solution for this thin 1/4-inch material, in my opinion. Or I'm doing something wrong. So, what are the options? I can go to a 5/16 bolt, because that's the size of the threads that I used for the helicoil. It'd work. The problem is I need to enlarge the holes on the water pump. And then obviously next time I go to put a new water pump on, I just have to drill the holes bigger. That's not a big deal. But will I ultimately get to the same problem where I don't have enough material on this 1/4-inch sheet? I don't know. I don't know. Are my threads long enough? Or stick with the same 1/4 size bolt and weld a nut on the back. I like that idea, except for my welding abilities are not good. And this being kind of a thin material, 1/4-inch, am I just going to destroy this thing by trying to weld this? I could take it somewhere and have it welded, I suppose.
Well, what would you do? Come back next time and you'll see what I did.